Hi, so this is going to be my submission for the Interactive Advanced Concept Presentation 5, and this is the Lemon Electrochemical Cell Fire. So essentially in this lab, I already pre-assembled the experiment, all of the materials and everything. It didn't end up working for me personally. I think just because it was kind of a struggle to find materials, like from all the different stores that I went to. And I think just in general, like the setup just may have not gone like that smoothly as well. But either way, I'll still walk you through the process and talk you through it and tell you why it should do what it didn't do for me, but what I would have maybe needed to change potentially. But here is my setup. So I have the lemon, which is going to be like where the fire kind of comes from, like the burning and everything is going to come from this originally. And then I have the copper clips, and then I have the zinc nails, and then the ends are the rubberized wire, which was also kind of hard to find. And then in the middle is just like the individual wires to kind of conduct the electricity, the fire. And then I have my wool and the toilet paper for the tinder that they kind of used in the video. And I did try it outside, don't worry. This is not conducted indoors. But basically, so these are all the materials: copper, zinc nails. So yeah, obviously it was set up, as similarly as I could to the experiment shown in the video. But so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kind of like rub the ends of the wire on like the tinder that's like supposed to be like potentially like conducting the fire from like the rubberized wire to the tinder and also helping with the steel wool underneath. And so, I mean, yes, again, I'll set this aside. But it didn't work for me. But what it should do is it's supposed to kind of start like a small little inkling of fire. And then obviously, as tinder does, it's supposed to spread the fire onto the rest of the toilet paper, just kind of generating heat and letting that out and creating a small fire. And so I read in other websites and everything as well too that you could use different objects instead of just the lemon, kind of as like the central mechanism that you're attaching everything else to. But I mean, at least what I know about the lemon, I know it provides citric acid, and acids have like ions which help with conducting electricity. So that was kind of what we were using as that central mechanism, and maybe that's the reason for it. And so it's like an electrochemical reaction basically. And by setting this up, you're kind of setting up a complete circuit for that electricity to be kind of like running through, like first, going from like the wires with the nails and the clips, onto the rubberized wires, onto then the tinder and steel wool. And then, yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the zinc nail sheds electrons into the acid, which is oxidation, I believe, because the material would then lose electrons. And the zinc nail has a negative charge, so the electrons are flowing out of the wire through the circuit, and then they're going back into the lemon through the copper clips. And so then in this experiment, the two positively charged hydrogen atoms are picking up those electrons that were lost and becoming uncharged hydrogen molecules that bubble away. So the copper side should have a positive charge. And so essentially then, as I kind of explained why the lemon was chosen, I can kind of explain why the other materials are doing what they're doing in order to contribute to the experiment. But basically, when you're setting up the copper clips with the wire going diagonally to attach to each copper clip from the zinc nails, you're like setting up this chain reaction to happen between the wire that's attached to both of them, that it's like creating a reaction between the zinc and the copper. So that's the reason why we have the wire attached as well. And so then at one of your last steps is when you're attaching these like wires and stuff to the ends with the only two nail and clips that aren't unmatched with the wires. You're making like a short circuit that's going to make the steel wool glow, and it should be hot. And yeah, essentially when you're just connecting the rubberized wires with the tinder above the steel wool, that is just what's supposed to then give off that heat and kind of generate the experiment that we know is like the lemon electrochemical cell fire. So overall, I mean, I thought it was definitely an interesting experiment to do. I wish it had worked for me. But obviously, like, there's, you know, tried my best, and it still was interesting to set up and get to learn about it as well. And it's weird to think that a household object, and obviously, like, you know, don't have rubberized wire typically on me, or like nails and stuff and things like that. But, you know, like a household object like a lemon and steel wool and toilet paper and stuff like that, it's like crazy to see how a household object can kind of like do this interesting thing just because of a chemical reaction, an electrical reaction, I mean. So yeah, overall I'd say it was a really cool experiment to perform, and thank you, I appreciate it.